I want to ask you before we get started on this, since the election, do you see any changes coming on college campuses as far as what is going on with the students and what indoctrination is being handed out and things like that?
For the most part, there aren't too many changes. We had stories, as is other places, about elite universities like Northwestern and Harvard hosting various calm spaces where there was coloring and hot chocolate and a therapy dog. And this was planned before Trump's
That's my
election.
morning, coloring and hot chocolate.
Yeah, my 2-year-olds too.
Yeah.
But for elite college, it's a little concerning. For the most part, academics have blamed the election on white male anger, on racism and sexism. But they were already preparing to do this months ago. Claiming that Kamala Harris was being treated differently because of her race and gender. What's interesting is actually someone had asked Vice President Harris about that, and she said that she didn't think she was facing a difficult battle because of her race and sex. So credit to her for not playing the identity politics in that instance. But for the most part, at least if you read the student newspapers, most students are upset and they're anxious. And I've had a couple stories. I'm working on one this morning about the University of Portland, which is run by the Holy Cross Brothers. And students are not taking it well, at least those represented by the student newspapers.
Okay. And how many of those students that are represented by the campus newspapers are in the majority of students there? I mean, is this overwhelmingly the way students are feeling, or are they a minority, just an outspoken minority?
Well, it's tough to tell because at a lot of these universities, like the Ivy League universities, there are polls from the student newspaper, for example, showing that most of the students are liberal, but that doesn't represent them all. At Northwestern University, there were a handful of Republicans that, including one of our reporters, that wrote, pro-Trump messages on this rock on campus. There was another student I remember, I forget which university it was, but he said something about, well, I don't really care who wins. Neither party's that much different. I don't really think much is going to change. And so there is some sort of comment. I mean, there are different students between the parties, but not every student, I would say, is taking it incredibly serious. There's some students who their comments sort of maybe show more than they would like. This one student at Princeton said he was worried that Trump was going to ban abortion and I'll say videos that violate the Sixth Commandment. And so I think that tells me a little bit more about him, that he's worried that sort of content would get banned under Trump than it tells us about Donald Trump himself.
It also tells you where he's getting his news information.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I certainly wish President Trump would go ahead with banning those things. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I gave him a little advice. I won't name him too many times, but I gave him a little advice that women don't really find that attractive when you talk about your fear of inappropriate videos being hard to watch online.
Yeah,